be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chairman Project with Jason Sisneros, your humble host. Last week, you got to see an amazing interview with David Schmidt of Lifewave. And this week, we're going to be talking to my team, the support and the people that have been in it for a while. And you're going to see from behind the scenes. This is a really unique scenario because a lot of times, as you know, you've been watching episodes and whatnot, you know that you get to hear from the CEO or the chairman of the company. Very rarely do you get to talk to or hear from people that are actually members of that company and have been involved with it for a while. So this is a really cool perspective, and it kind of all came together yesterday when we decided let's follow it up with another great interview. So this one's going to be fun. It may be a little chaotic. Never had this many people on screen at one time, but they're amazing people, high levels of energy, and people that I have come to know, love, and adore, and more importantly, trust. So we're going to talk a little bit through, the idea, Lifewave itself. Those of you that have gone to the website, it's jasonsisneros.com. You go to Built to Exit Health, and you can see the page there and read all about it. And I've been getting some questions and some DMs. We just did the live video actually went on with David Schmidt, just went live today as we're recording this one. So it's going a little bit crazy, but we'll get all your questions answered. And I think that this episode is going to help you see yourself in the journey of someone, right? And I'll start out with my journey. I was contacted by this lovely lady, Cheryl, over here. And she said, "Hey, I've got this thing." By the way, hear that 18,000 times a day. "Hey, I've got this thing, Jason." And so, but there was something about her approach and her story and getting to know her. And then obviously I'll let her tell her story, but it was very impactful. And it just caused me one of those moments, which you're probably having as you're listening to this series of videos, to say, I'll give it a look, right? It's really that simple. I'm somebody who constantly is upgrading my health. Those of you that know my schedule, you know that I've got to be ready to be on stage. I'm going tomorrow to Costa Rica to be on stage. We have rescues that we have to show up for, throw on bulletproof vests and go undercover, not eat for 3 days and chase down bad guys or whatever the case may be. So my health is prime. It is premier, a primary concern in my life. And so when Cheryl said this, I was like, cool, I'll try them. My wife as well. And typically speaking, as I know, a lot of people will definitely identify with, as you've bought every vitamin and every, magic potion in the world, you're like, I'll try it because I love Cheryl. That's why I tried it. And I'll try it. Probably not going to work, not going to get my hopes up. and so my wife and I both tried it. And within the first day, we got to the end of the day and we were looking at each other, and she had put on these pain patches, which we'll get into the product here in a little bit. And she looks at me and she goes, how are you feeling with your patch today? And I was like, well, how are you feeling with your patch? Neither one of us wanted to say to the other one that they were amazing, right? She had a little backache and my energy level was higher. I box in the morning doing all this stuff. And so it was an immediate impact for me and for my wife both. And we said, dang it, this thing works. Now, now what do we do? And that's where everybody that you're going to hear from today came in. They all have different perspectives. Those of you that know, again, you follow me, I've given you advice to vet things, to make decisions slowly, right? And to make sure that things are real. And that's exactly what I did with this team. I'm surrounded by people that are just mind-blowingly cool. And so we're going to have some conversations today and really address, in no specific order, but we're really going to address 3 questions that you've heard me talk about before. Does it work? Can I do it? And is there support in anything that you do? But we're going to talk specifically about Lifewave today. So I'm going to go to the OGs, right? The very first people that started this off of all of this group here, which is Gregory and Robin Mascari. So welcome to the show. It's great to have you on, and would just love to hear your perspective and give the microphone to you for a bit.
Oh, thank you, Jason. We love learning from you. This is a real gift for all of us. Well, I'm Robin, and I needed two new knees, and I got one of them, and it didn't go well. And I was looking for alternatives for the other one. So I was researching stem cell injections, and we agreed. And it was a big deal to commit to $12,500 for a single injection with no guarantee. Fortunately, a friend called and said, the company I'm with is a new technology that activates your own stem cells. And I went, how fast can I get it? A little bit different than what you just said, Jason, about doing the research. This was a trusted friend that we've known for many years. And so I just said, how fast can I get it? And I put the patch on the top of my spine, and a week later, my pain was gone. It was just gone. And I was bone on bone for decades, and I couldn't not share. I was involved in another company, very high profile, not looking for a business. I started as a customer, no intention of building a business. And I started sharing, and everyone else was having amazing results. And then something in me shifted from, sharing, because that's my nature, to really a sense of responsibility to let people know that there's this breakthrough historic technology that is safe, natural, affordable, that activates your own stem cells. I went, I felt a responsibility to let people know, because it gives people hope. And after a while, I'll turn things over to Gregory and let him share his story.
Yeah, because, I watched what was happening with Robin. I was on the phone call that we got from our trusted friend Kai, and she tried the product and had such amazing results. And I've got a background of 35 years in marketing alternative health and breakthrough wellness products. So I've been around the bush. I was a vice president of an anti-aging nutrition company, and I was fully engaged in another project, wasn't looking for something else to do. But I watched Robin's excitement grow and grow and grow to the point I renamed the company Lifewave, because I hardly got to talk to her anymore. She's so exciting. She couldn't not share it with people. And so we call it a sharing and caring business, and when people realize what we have, like you did, Jason, when Cheryl shared it with you, the same thing happened with us. And the rest, as they say, is history.
You're going to give your line? Having too much fun.
Oh, at one point I said, honey, you're having too much fun, making too much money. We should do this together. and it became our business.
I love that. I love that. That tends to happen, every once in a while when your lady starts out performing the income. Like, it's like,
right.
Like in my family, we means Emily. That's my wife, right? That's what we means. So, that's crazy. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that story. I'll come back to you, obviously, but let's move through. How about you, Connie?
Hi, I'm Connie Lucas, and by trade, I've been a hairdresser for 42 years, color specialist hairdresser. But my husband and I are very entrepreneurial, and we own two traditional businesses. We have a bar and grill. It's been around for 50 years. I've had my hair salon. I've been 42 years in that industry, and I had done some network marketing on the side with nutraceuticals and loved health, loved helping people. I was a certified health coach, but something happened. So for us with the product, it was, again, a friend shared. My husband was my guinea pig. I saw a wound on his leg go from the diameter of a quarter, a puncture wound. And then 6 days later, it was a teeny scar. And I went, oh, well, that's interesting. That's what they said it would do. So that was my, okay, this works. I started noticing as he's working out, all of a sudden he's getting more muscle mass. And I literally called Robin Mascari and I said, here's what's happening to my husband. He's dropping his belly fat. He's getting more muscle mass. And this wound has healed in miraculous time. And I said, is this normal? And she said, the wound healing, yes. Please don't tell people they're going to put on a patch and drop their belly fat. She goes, it's because he works out every day. It's because he's doing the right things. He's eating right, supplementing right. And he's in his early 60s. So his body now is acting like he's 20. So with that, you know, we started looking at the company, the product, but a little thing happened in 2020. And I think a lot of your viewers can relate to this. We had multiple streams of income. 3 streams of income going on. And they had been, particularly our 2 main ones, our plan A, plan B, they were debt-free, profitable, very profitable for decades. And all of a sudden, during the shutdown, during the pandemic, both businesses in 2 different industries were forced to shut down through no fault of our own. Now, for any of you out there that own your own businesses, you remember, money's going out. You're still paying rent. You're still paying your employees. You're still paying insurance. You're paying utilities. You're doing all the money's going out and nothing's coming in, and it's out of your control. Nothing you can do about it. And as we fast forward through that, I started to realize that plan A, plan B might not be enough. And we had another situation where a company, a few other people on here were in this company with me. And this company decided during the pandemic to go e-commerce. We had been with them for 15 years, and they decided that they were going to keep the customers and get rid of our paychecks. And that was when I suddenly said, okay, you know, I've got a hold of something really great, and I'm gonna treat this like this is my plan A. And it did. It, over the course of 3.5 years, what started as plan C, I'm never going to let the other thing happen to me, right? Suddenly became plan A and started outperforming significantly our other streams of revenue. And so to me, I'm a big fan of plan A. I'm a big fan of parallel streams of income. Some of you on here, you're entrepreneurs. You have your thing you love. You have your thing you're passionate about. And this fits right along with it. It fits in the nooks and crannies because everybody's business is people. And so you can come along with systems, team, and tools, and you can leverage you can leverage your upline, all the people that are here. You leverage your team downline. You leverage the tools we've created, and anyone can go out and share and change lives. So that's my story.
I love that. And you bring up several really great points. And you and I, when we very first met, we connected on that business level because, you know, that's my fight. Everybody that's watching me right now, if they're not involved in business, they're probably not watching me. So they're doing something in business, right? And that your story was the thing that kept me in the game. You know, again, longtime followers know that I sold my companies and was moving really into the philanthropic space to, you know, with domestic violence and rescuing kids and feeding people. And part of the thing is, this is a big fight, right? When an entity tells you that you're non-essential, that made me mad. It's like 60% of the GDP and 60% of the hiring in this country, all of the innovation, right? Almost all of the heart and risk and everything that makes America great and why people are, you know, coming in from around the world to try to be a part of this country is the hope that it creates. And it made me mad, you know, and I don't like bullies. And so this was, you know, like you said, a lot of people that are here, they already have a business. They're already building something. This is one of those things. Everybody knows me. They know I'm busy. This is something that I'm already doing. Right. And that when I find something that I absolutely love, I tell everybody about it. Exactly. That becomes a business. In the business model world, you tell me a company that you can go out to that's making $400 million a year and says, here's all the tools, go make as much money as you possibly can. That does not exist. Again, I'm new to network marketing, but the concept makes sense. You know, and I know there's going to be a lot of people, I don't like network marketing. Well, you probably don't like a lot of other things too. So keep it to yourself. Okay. But if you go through the model and you think through it logically, I'm thinking to myself, how many movies have I suggested to people before in the past that Steven Spielberg never sent me a check, you know, but But David Schmidt is when he's like, refer them. I'm going to send you, X amount of percentage of whatever they buy. It's an incredible business model that lines up. You don't, again, you've got a team around you. That's why this call was so important to me, is that everybody here is on my team. And one of the first things I said to you guys, I don't have a lot of time. You're like, great. Like, let's work that out. Let's figure out how to work together to make that happen. Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has helped hundreds of clients and thousands of growth course students fix, scale, and successfully master their businesses. To put it simply, my team and I help people turn their businesses into machines that create cash. To better support startups and other mid-sized companies, my team and I developed a phenomenal and comprehensive digital growth course where I poured decades of business ownership and know-how into 20 hours of content. This course is not easy. It's not an easy pill, but it demands real work from you to implement the blueprints that I've developed. We know that reaching financial freedom is never easy, but totally worth it. Go to growthcourse.com right now to learn more about the course and get started on your business journey today. And so you take all of those excuses off the table in a time when, I don't know if you all watch I watch the financial world, and I watch the jobs reports, and I watch all of that stuff like a hawk, because I do a weekly show about business and what the environment looks like. We lost 650,000 full-time jobs last month. They're saying, oh, we got more jobs than we've ever added. It was 287,000, but they were part-time, right? So you lost 650,000 full-time and you replaced them with 287,000 part-time. That's not good news. And so this message may be hitting you if you don't have a lot of startup capital, if you have been wanting to start a business, if you're in startup mode anyway, you've been thinking about it. Again, you're watching me. I know you're at least thinking about business. This is a great opportunity for you for literally not literally no money, but a very small investment to get started, to then just go tell people about something that actually improves your health. So I love that, Connie. And that's where you and I connected immediately in the beginning, was because of a story like yours. And that's why I love it. This business is a bully fighter. So love that. Anne Moreau. I just like saying your last name.
Moreau is accurate.
See, there you go. How about you?
So I am a registered nurse and have been a registered nurse for 45 years and retired for going on 7 years now. And I was so tired of the disease model. 22 years ago, I got pretty sick with 3 autoimmune conditions, and the medical community had no answers for me. So I ended up looking alternatively, and it was life-changing. And I knew that that is where I wanted to be. When I spoke with the medical community about alternatives, they closed the door. They laughed at me, quite frankly. And yet my health was better than it had been after visiting docs for 25 years and not improving my health. The alternatives worked. So I was invested in wanting to know more. I got involved with a nutritional company with Connie. Connie and I were, and Dr. Tom, we were all together in that company. And when that company closed and Connie came to me and said, you got to look at this innovation, you got to look at this company, I was kind of, I don't know much about, quantum physics. I don't know much about how this all works. And I need the science, right? So for me, it was, I want to see the science. And she said, sure, there's plenty there. And so she showed me where to go. I looked at the science and she finally said, you know what, Anne, just try the patches, put them on your body. And so I finally, understand that I come from a background of, when you talk about sharing and caring, that's what I did as a nurse. You care for people. You want to get them better. And so that was really where I was. And sales was not my thing. I don't do sales. And I've had network marketers approach me many, many times, and they can be very pushy. I didn't like it, and I didn't want to be part of that at all. But I learned in this company that this is a company where we do share and we do care for people and we develop relationships. And that touched my heart. And so I connected with this team because that's who they are all about. And so this model of going from a disease model of 45 years and going into this health model and wellness model. And now, we're talking about not only wellness, but anti-aging, which is what David is working on. It's pretty exciting to be part of that. And I also want to say that I have worked as a nurse a long time, and I've made some pretty decent money, but I've never made as much money as what I'm making today. After almost 4 years, it'll be 4 years in August that I've been doing this business, and I've never made this much money in my nursing career. So it's a pretty awesome business. And one of my big goals is to help 1 million people know that they can create really great health using alternative approaches like the Lifewave product. And I need a team of people to do that. And that team is growing. And you know what? You're going to help that grow even bigger. So thank you.
My pleasure. Again, as you're listening to everybody here, you're going to see a common theme that we speak about, almost every week, which is ethical capitalism. And ethical capitalism is the thing that changed the world, right? It is the thing. And it's because you have to behave in such a way that you face down your own weaknesses and you fall in love with somebody's outcome more than you fall in love with your own. Right. And you have to execute on that. And that's, you just heard from Anne, and you get that from her spirit. It's like, and from everybody that you're going to hear from today, it's that ethical capitalism. It is, yes, I'm going to share. Yes, I'm falling in love with somebody else's, because really it's just a bunch of conversations. Hey, I've got a busted knee. Hey, I've got autoimmune. Hey, I've got a busted business. Whatever it is, it's like, oh, I've got this thing. It's just a solution, right? You're falling in love with the outcome of other people. Hey, I'm struggling because the economy is going south. The interest rates are going up. I could really use an extra $800 a month. Well, I've got this thing, right? That's really what I'm seeing about all this. And I know that I'm like a kid in a candy store, because I'm like, how the hell did I not hear about all of this years and years ago? And I probably did. And I was probably one of those idiots that went, I'm too good for network marketing. I was probably one of those dum-dums, and now I look back and I go, dang, I'm looking at the Mascaris going, whoo, I shouldn't have been that dumb. So, but again, and you're coming from that RN spot. And one of the things that stood out to me in the interview and the subsequent conversations with David was where this all started, was in improving the performance of the top superhumans on the face of the planet in our special forces. That's where this whole thing started. And you don't get to say, I increase the special forces performance by X%. You don't get to say that unless that's real, right? You don't get to say that. You don't even get to put that technology out without it being a provable thing. So if it works for them, works for everybody here, works for me, it's going to definitely work for you. So thank you, Anne. Thanks for sharing your story. We're going to jump over to Dr. Tom. Dr. Tom, the microphone is yours, brother.
Hola.
Hola.
What a rocking conversation. One of the pieces of well-being is that we take away personal reward. And one of the things I love about communities like this, conscious communities, is that we think we're going to say one thing and then all of a sudden we surprise ourselves. And, like that's a creative space for a family. And if it hadn't been Anne to call me 3 years ago, I was a pretty busy guy. It was the first year of the close down, et cetera, et cetera. And I had a pretty full professional life already. And I respect Anne dearly. We've been friends for many years. And I had worked with stem cells before, but had never heard of these technologies. And so she pointed me in the direction of the science. I took a little bit of a look and really didn't expect, she sent me a sleeve of X39 and I personally didn't expect to see anything happen. Like I said, I was in great shape, had a strong athletic practice and eating nicely and whatnot. And almost immediately my yoga practice was improved. And then I started remembering my dreams in a very interesting, different way. And again, I thought I had a healthy life, and I think we all get comfortable with the ABCs of the steppings of our lives, and we don't see what's possible. So I think it's really important that people step in and hear stories. And that's the other thing I love about this community is we have great calls where people tell their stories. First of all, in a pay it forward dynamic, being able to tell the story of my success accentuates that success, right? Multiplies. Doesn't even matter if people get it, right? The very act of expression is so important. And I think it's one of the dynamics that's so important with these communities. But a lot of my work, so I was an MS specialist at Georgetown, neurologist, helping people not heal. I didn't know that at the time. I thought helping people die less quickly was success, and that's the modern allopathic systems, unfortunately. Then God tricked me into buying a yoga studio with a buddy of mine. I went into it as what I thought was a business deal, and turned into two others in the DC Metro. And I started learning different languages about how to empower and how to work in community and how to explore. And what I thought was my athletic body before, I had a brand new breakthrough. So first couple of years of that, again, God was poking me in the ribs saying, you're going to pay attention to regenerative, frequency medicine here. And that's when I started learning about food as medicine, and putting the microbiome, which is all of the little critters, micro, small biota life, are bacteria and virus and fungus and other parasites and whatnot that are part of our gut. I started learning that language, and I realized that autoimmune disease, it disappears. You put microbiome back together the way it is to create a metabolically capable creature, and we do regenerate. We make 500 billion cells a day. We're supposed to lose 500 billion cells a day too, but you put the body back into a place where today's cells are better than yesterday, and then you get to turn back the clock. So that's our retracing phenomenon. And David speaks that brilliantly, so thank you, Anne, for sharing and holding space for me and helping me step in. The changes I try to help clients and patients make often take a while. I like to be realistic and say, here's the changes in diet and frequency, and maybe even the people in your life, et cetera. And here's the timeline. What I've noticed with these technologies is those timelines are shrunken dramatically. And sometimes people who are even on tricky drug regimens, that I know professionally, it's going to take about a year. We're going to have to be careful and take blah, blah, blah. And 6 months later, boom, they're drug free. So we can't technically say that, of course. Unfortunately, we can't make medical claims.
Allegedly.
Yeah, but people change their lives in very dramatic ways. And that's what's exciting for me.
I love that. I want you to speak to, because one of the great things that happened from 2020 and since 2020 is this realization, almost an awakening of smart people. Okay. There's still some that, that are not awake to the idea that we should advocate. Not only should we, but we must advocate for our own health. And I think that there's been a lot of things that have been debunked, and people that we were worried about it, and now people have been proven right for being worried. And I just want you to speak to the idea of what you've seen, not only for yourself, but in the people that you've brought in and the people that you've seen in this business, the benefit, or at least the idea, or the strategy of advocating for one's own health.
And then I had a conversation with somebody earlier today, and helped them find new narrative, new dialogue, and new ways to talk to the doc. And I suggested that they have the doc pay close attention and do before and after blood work, et cetera, et cetera. And getting back into the driver's seat is a big deal. You're right on there, Jason, that we've somehow accepted these coordinated messages, educating us into turning over our decision-making to the experts. When did that happen, right? And one of the cool things about putting people back into a place where they know they can navigate their life is not only do they get better and they look around and they realize, oh, I really am a result of all the decisions that I've made, all the toxins. It's not easy to change, but these technologies put the body back into a place where it is competent. And I like to tell people that doesn't take off the table the need to make the changes, the lifestyle changes that got you here in the first place. The technology doesn't clean up our lives. The technology just is oh my, this is what it's like to feel good and think good and like people, and this is what it's like to, right? That was great. Now, and then all of a sudden you have the power to be part of community and then make the lifestyle changes.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Anne nailed it. The disease model. It's crazy I mean, it's because again, you dig into things like the world shows up with something and you're like, oh, let me start advocating for my own health. That means that I have to research. That means I need to read. That means I need to educate myself. And you start going down these paths and it leads to some insane places that it's a disease model. There's so much money in healthcare. It's not actually healthcare. It's keep you sick care. Right. And so I love that. Again, this was one of those things where it's very easy. The application, the usage of it, you try it, and again, if you don't want to build a business, fine, just get the patches and feel better. Right. And if you don't, there's money back guarantee. It's like, it's so dang simple for you to be able to try something for your health that's working for everybody that's on the screen. So, and I know a lot of my followers, they listen to my rant that we're all sort of like heart. So we kind of all sort of think the same around big issues. So now I'm going to go to the troublemaker herself, the one that is responsible for all of these relationships that I now have. And these last two videos and interviews that I've done is Miss Cheryl Edmond. Welcome to the show. I love you and adore you.
Thank you, Jason. Well, when I first met you or saw you at a conference we were at last June and you were on stage, I thought, well, I don't know how I'm going to get to know that guy, but I got to get to know that guy. I was just blown away at how beautiful your message was and how powerful it was. And last summer, I had a chance to meet a gal from South Africa, who is how I met Dr. Tom. And she had an autoimmune deficiency and I had one. And we were talking about building my website for my ministry. And she said, well, you gotta take a look at these patches because they have really made a world of difference for me in terms of my health. And I said, okay, sure. So she put me on a call with Dr. Tom. And fast forward, here we are. Well, when I met you for my free consultation to get on your podcast for millionaires, and we had our chat, we talked about the patches and we talked about our backgrounds. And I've been in network marketing most of my life, along with my full-time career in human resources. So I was thinking along the lines of, well, how could these patches help you? Because you were talking to me about you and Emily and your work with the trafficking children and how dangerous that is. And my father, late father being in law enforcement, I knew how strong you needed to be. And you talked to me about being, working out every morning and in the boxing ring. And I thought, he has to have these patches. He has to have these patches. So fast forward 7 months. And, I kept in touch with you as my network marketing skills put into action. You finally said, well, after the Super Bowl, my busiest day of the year, let's sit down. So we sat down with Dr. Tom, and here we are. So I just knew that the patches will keep you strong and healthy and stronger in the optimum health arena that I know that you and Emily want to be in and need to be in, because you're on the firing line. So.
I love that. Well, how has it worked personally for you? I mean, in your life, a couple of stories from your own experience.
Yeah. Well, my goal was I wanted stronger legs to be on stage. To share my story. So now my legs are much stronger. I'm in much better health. And I was already working toward gut health when I ran into the patches. So that was already straight, and the microbiome was intact, as Dr. Tom and I talked. So I knew that the patches would take me to the next level. I just knew that. I couldn't tell you, quantify how I knew that. I just internally knew that. So they really have. I was really struggling with strength and for my legs and for my overall body. So I'm just getting stronger every day.
I love that. Well, and it's interesting because same thing with me. I'm like, I got to understand the science of this, right? And I dug in and I'm like, I'm never going to understand the science of this. So, and then I started to think to myself, I don't question electricity when I go flip on a light. Like it just freaking works. So why am I being such a jerk about this? Right. And because I know that it works. So everybody knows, every quarter I do blood work. And every quarter when I get the blood work, it's going to tell me what I did the prior quarter, because every quarter I only change one thing, right? I'll add whatever the new vitamin or the patches or taking something out of my diet or whatever it is. And I get my blood done every quarter. And so for me, it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, well, I'll try it and see. And all of my markers have gotten better. All of them. I mean, it's not just one set of markers. Everything has gotten better. And the only thing that I changed was introducing these patches into my life. But again, that was the evidence that came after the feeling. I already had the feeling. I already knew things were getting better. And again, I pushed myself in those workouts. My goal when I go into the boxing gym or to a gym is to make myself either throw up or pass out. That's when I know that I have put enough into that workout, right?
Yeah.
And I cannot do it anymore. I'm like, I'm pushing so hard and I'm hitting the bag and I'm getting mad at these patches because it's like I can't, I feel like it's just giving me this next level of sharpness in my thought process, energy in the gym, the being able to work throughout the day, sleep less for me, which is already not very much, but it's just, again, it's one of those things. I don't need to explain electricity every time I flip on the light. The science is there. And David Schmidt, all you got to do is a little bit of background about him, and it's already evidence that he's smarter than me. And so, it's like that. Our relationship, we've already defined it. He's Iron Man, super smart and an inventor. I'm Batman. I'm bigger. I'm a little dumber, but I like to go help people. That's great. So that's our relationship. Are you a business owner that's looking to build your company into a machine that creates cash? I'm Jason Sisneros, chairman and founder of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has turned around, merged, or prepped for sale hundreds of companies just like yours. I'm best known as the architect when it comes to fixing and building companies across the globe. My experience comes from owning and exiting over 20 of my own companies successfully. It's that real-world experience that I've converted into the ultimate blueprint that has saved and grown my clients' businesses. If you're tired of getting bad advice, have bought all the books, all the coaching programs, and still aren't seeing the success that you were promised, it might be time to work with a team that has actual experience and a track record of success. Please scan the QR code or visit antonj.com to schedule your free 15-minute consultation to see if we can help you reach your outcomes. That's antonj.com, ANTONJAE.com. Well, I want to hear a few stories from y'all, and I'll start with you, Gregory and Robin. What are some cool things that have happened along the way that you didn't expect to happen with this company?
Oh my gosh. Well, When we started, X39 had not been introduced to the world yet. It was introduced only to people that were involved as brand partners in the company. And our friend, introduced it to us, and I became what was basically a wholesale customer. And so when X39 came out, the company was doing a little over about 2 million a month.
Mhm.
And, they had a lot of products, but they'd kind of flatlined. And when this product came out, our friend called and said, I've been basically, staying active, and my checks have been about 3 or 4 thousand a month, and they went up to 12,000 a month. And the only thing that was different was this one product was introduced. Well, that got Gregory's attention big time. What got my attention is the word stem cell. So we have a different orientation. We work together as partners. He's the strategy, systems, planner over here. I'm the relationship person. And so it spoke to us in different ways. So we started in I started using the product. Well, we shared in 2018. And then it was introduced to the world in 2019. And now we're 5 years later. And the company that was flatlined has grown 20-fold. And it
Wow.
was a mature 15-year-old company. And anyone who's in business for any period of time, when you're doing a startup, you hope to get exponential growth, but it doesn't typically happen for a 15-year-old company. And it seems like month over month over month, we're just breaking records. Now, in between them, Gregory had stage 4 lung cancer. I had a knee replacement and a serious shoulder injury. And we've been through a lot in many other dimensions also. But what was wonderful is when Gregory was going through we call it the cancer seminar. It was intense. He was on a very, very thin thread. And I've been in the business about a year, and I'm incredibly grateful because rarely does the average person have an opportunity to develop residual income. And my attention needed to be as caregiver first and foremost. We used conventional medicine mostly for the diagnostics. We did a few other things with them, but the majority of what we did for his recovery, and in 4 months, he had no evidence of disease. So it was truly a miraculous recovery. But the important part to me was the income was coming in, and I was managing the business myself when we were both doing it. We had a fast growing business, but I was able to handle that and be a caregiver and know that we could, use the resources coming in to get the kind of care we really wanted, which was out of pocket for the majority. And so I will be incredibly grateful forever. I mean, I used to sit we bought a massage chair that got delivered right when we got the cancer diagnosis. And it was a salvation for me because every night I would sit in that chair starting at 11 o'clock and just kind of, decompress and have the conversations with people that I had to talk to every day, but in gratitude to David Schmidt, in tears, and to Dr. Lauren Picard, who discovered the copper peptide that actually was the impetus to create the X39. That's the main key. So that was truly life-changing for me. And it's allowed us to literally, because my professional background is in leadership development, personal development, and I have been in many different dimensions, really helping people design their life based on their values to create what is their dream lifestyle. And that's really what our business is about on many levels, is people can literally choose who they're in business with and the lifestyle they want to create. And we live an absolutely amazing lifestyle. We have each other, we get to work together. We live in a beautiful place. We're surrounded by an incredible family. We have freedom. And the money keeps coming in whether we're working or not. And so it's truly something, and part of our work, we have a business called Enlightened Networking, and part of our, vision together is to truly up-level the perception of this profession that is really misunderstood. Because if people really took the time to learn about this business model, they'd go, whoa. And Gregory calls it the next evolution of the free enterprise system, which allows the average person, no matter what your background, no matter, where you come from, what you're socioeconomically, culturally, anything, educationally, anybody has the opportunity, if they're willing to become a student and plug into the system, because simplicity and duplication equals success. And it's not about how much you know, it's how willing are you to use the tools that we know have been proven to work.
Beautiful.
Strong. I don't know, Gregory. I don't even know if I need to hear
I don't
from
know
you
if I need to
about
say anything.
That was super strong. And I love I love the perspective, because at the end of the day, there's a couple things, and all of this was running through my head as Cheryl got a hold of me, right? I mean, it was again, it's the natural reaction, like, oh, network marketing, like, does she not know me? Like,
misunderstood,
right? Completely ignorant, not even just misunderstood, completely ignorant on my side. And, and as I think about it, and as I've thought this through, what you said is incredibly important, because everybody is looking for this thing that they call it financial freedom. And it's probably one of the most overused phrases and least understood phrases on the face of the planet. And that number, because it is just a number, that number is different for everybody. There's people that a couple of $100 a month coming in regularly that they didn't have to go to work for is a game changer, right? And there's people 12,000, and something with your health goes south, like with what you were just talking about. And if you have to divert your attention to the thing that you love the most, and you have to leave that business aside, a traditional business, guess what? Most businesses are not built with a team. They don't have systems. They don't have processes. They don't have backups. They're not residual. Once that business owner steps away, it's gone. And so, again, part of that ignorance on my side, is I was going through the mental gymnastics. It came down to misunderstanding, ignorance, and ego. So but one of the things I said, I was like, even when Cheryl, probably even said it to Cheryl, I don't need any money. Like, that's not like that. And that is pure, ridiculous, stupid ego, because the thing that I'm here to do on this planet is to help other people become economically free. I do it with businesses. I've been doing it for business owners. We build 5% businesses. That's what I've done, most of my career. And here there's this opportunity for anybody to build that, and then there's that. Well, go ahead.
I just wanted to add one more thing that's really important for me personally. My background is, I was privileged to work with Stephen Covey and help launch the 7 Habits book and teach 7 Habits every week. And I worked with a company called Enlightened Leadership, and I've done career outplacement work. And it's all really the same, which is giving people the resources and tools to grow into their potential. And this business model, more than anything I've ever done, Gregory and I like to call it a greenhouse. It's truly a safe place for people to grow into their potential. And there's nothing greater in this business than to sit back and watch my people, watching Connie develop into this magnificent leader, and for me to sit in the audience is one of the greatest gifts there is, and with everyone on this team. And so growing people is what this business is about for us.
To give them the ultimate thing, which is choice. That's all. And it's economic in nature. We talk about First Amendment. We talk about Second Amendment. There's all of these things that keep people distracted. When they empty your pocket, your choices are reduced to the amount that you have in it, and so being able to fill that back up. And then, the other misconception I think that is probably prevalent, and it was in my mind, it's like, oh, everybody at the top makes a ton of money. And then all the little people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay. I had to think that one through for myself. And I looked at it in life in general, right? Where the people that apply themselves with a system and to a system and hold themselves accountable this to a system that produces a predictable, verifiable result. Those are the people that win in life. The world is full of people that quit. It's full of people that make excuses. It's full of, why would this business model be any different? Right? There's a system in place. There's a ton of, you're seeing me, I'm surrounded by them. You got to meet the owner of the dang company last week on last week's interview. You're looking around, looking at all this evidence. You're hearing the numbers that are coming out of their mouth. It's $400 million a year. It's the fastest growing in its industry, and the damn product works. Like, what? Okay. You're going to put yourself out. Okay. It's a pyramid scheme. Okay. It's just, to me, for me, not for everybody, but for me, that's life. There are people who will fight for themselves and fight for their families, and they will put in and do whatever it takes into a job that will make somebody else rich, that as soon as they leave, the money stops, and they won't look at something like this. There's God giving his thumbs up there, right? Like, I don't know where that thumb comes from a lot of times, but when it comes time, somebody hands you a system, which is all I do in business. Oh, I might be freezing up a little bit. But that's all I do in business, is teach people systems for their own companies. That's it. And here's a great system with a great company and a great product. So I guess I'm talking too fast for my video to keep up. Connie, what's something that surprised you?
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, sorry. I completely did skip over you. Let me go back to Greg.
Oh, and I guess that's why Connie was muted.
Possibly.
Yeah, I just add one short thing. For us and for many people we know, two things. A lot of people say Lifewave was a godsend, answer to a prayer, and it was for us. For Robin's, knee, for my health, and for our wealth, Lifewave has been an answer to a prayer. The other thing I want to address, I didn't realize how meticulous you are with your blood workup, but one thing we always hear, Dr. Tom can address this, people go to see their doctor and get their blood, their annual physical, their blood workup, and the doctor says, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it.
They don't ask.
Everybody sees positive changes in their blood workup. Anne's smiling away because, she's probably done more blood work than all of us put together for sure. And so the product just works. And one last thing, David Schmidt, when I was going through my little cancer seminar, he was my best friend. I mean, he was on the phone with us. He was open. He gave us coaching. The guy's got a heart of gold. He's not only a genius scientist, brilliant inventor, 130 plus patents. He's got a heart of gold. He loves humanity and he loves helping. So right place, right time, right people, and right systems. Because I've learned over the years, systems duplicate, people don't. And we've got success systems that anybody can plug in, turnkey, no matter what your background is, a step-by-step path to success.
I love that. Connie, microphone is yours.
I love it. Well, the thing that surprised me is actually, I was thinking the instant you talked about pay for performance, I was thinking the same thing. You talked about people thinking, oh, everybody at the top, they make all the money. And my husband would always say, they don't understand that they have to make $1 before you make a dime. And the truth of it is, that's the beauty of this industry. You only make money as you support people, and they support people, and they support people. It's been so much fun with Anne to watch her, same as Rob was talking about, watch Anne's paycheck go up. Their retirement is completely different. Their dreams are completely different. When her husband says, oh, I don't know how we're going to pay for this. And she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I already paid for it, and to watch her brother-in-law, who came and said, he was just a simple guy. And he says, I've never made this much money in my life. And it's not about that. It's about what that creates. what dreams, what lifestyle does that create for them, and flexibility and freedom. So the surprising thing to me was the freedom, flexibility, and leverage piece. So as a solopreneur, so if anybody's out there and they're a doctor, a chiropractor, they're a lawyer, they're a hairdresser, they're any kind of industry where you're a solopreneur, it is me making money. My entire career was based on me giving a service, right? And I could only make as much as I could put time in. It was still, I was my own business, but I was still trading time for dollars. Always time for dollars. And back to the pandemic of that, all of a sudden I saw people sitting home, collecting unemployment, not working. I'm sitting there trying to figure out how we're going to pay our employees, what we're going to do. We've been shut down, and I had this shift. And suddenly people were working from home. They weren't just working from home, they were working from other countries. They were traveling, they were creating lifestyle, and I was stuck. I was stuck behind a chair in order to doing a physical job at 60 years old, no matter what. And we had a brick and mortar business, a business that he could hire people to watch, but you still got to pay attention to your business, or things are going out the back door. So here we were with 2 brick and mortar businesses, and we didn't have flexibility, we didn't have freedom. And all of a sudden I moved into a model that allowed us to make that shift. And I kept with my career, not because of the money. And I have stuck with parts of my career because of the relationships I have. Well, now it's come the time where it's crazy. I'm exiting out, I'm giving away all my clients, that sort of thing. And suddenly we are traveling 2-3 times a month. We're going all over the country, all over the world, with teammates like you see on here, supporting our team in other places because we choose to do it. We've got this lifestyle that 40 years in business never allowed us to have. And the same thing of that leverage, that was all based on me helping other people. Somebody said to me today on a call, well, how they make money. So you don't know who's going to come into your business. You don't know who you're going to touch. You just do the work. Same thing, day after day, you follow the model, and people will come in. And just like you saw on here, I brought in Anne. A very large part of my business comes from Anne. I brought in another friend, Barbara. The largest part of my business comes in from her. I brought in other people. There were just a handful. There's just about 3 on each side of building my business. There's a lot of people in there using products, but there's 3 people that I locked arms with, and I started working under them and working under them. And that's where the support of a team comes in. When Jason came on, Jason's way down that line, but it's like, okay, this guy has the ability to touch a lot of lives, to change a lot of lives for people. And so what do we do to step in and support him? And then how do we support your people? So that's really the thing. The leverage, the flexibility, the freedom gave me an opportunity for a retirement and a lifestyle that I couldn't have even conceived before.
I love that. I love that. Anne, what's shocking to you?
Well, I think that personally, I didn't have an experience right off the bat, except for deep sleep the first night. So that was, and I knew from the science that something was happening, but I wasn't feeling it. So I knew that if I hung in there, that I would see changes. And one of my big goals was to get my blood pressure back under control, because it had been climbing as I got older. They were talking about putting me on blood pressure meds. I said, I'm not going on them. Both my parents have had those issues. They were both on meds. My mom's in kidney failure from the medication, and I am not doing that path. And so I started on the X39, knowing that we had heard that that would help with blood pressure. It took 6 months for my blood pressure to start dropping. It went from 144 over 80 to 132 over 76. And then I added X49 because I heard about the cardiovascular benefits of X49. And 4 months later, my blood pressure was 118 over 68. And this year I went back to see her and I was 112 over 58. So a year later, even better. So, I really accomplished what I wanted. But I also want to talk about that I worked in drug and alcohol for 20 years. That was, a large piece of my nursing career. And a lot of the patients that came in because they were addicted to opiates. And the opiates were prescribed by our physicians. I mean, I asked every single admission, where did you start? An injury, a back injury, surgery, whatever. And they started taking these prescription meds and couldn't get off of them. And so for me, I became really passionate about, here's this company that had patches that worked. I mean, I used them on my daughter-in-law for her shoulder, and she, in 4 minutes' time, was out of pain. And I was like, wow. And people are looking everywhere today for this type of, they don't want to be addicted to any drugs. They don't want to take the medications. They don't want to deal with the side effects. And that LifeWave has this technology that is changing lives for me is just, it's a huge deal, right? It's really important to me, and the other piece for me is watching my brother-in-law, who struggled financially all of his life, to be able to say today that, he had his refrigerator, stove. There were like 3 or 4 appliances that went wonky last week, and he doesn't have to worry. He's got the money to pay for new appliances. I mean, that's pretty, it's pretty significant. It's pretty cool. I have grown to love network marketing.
I love that, Ann. Dr. Tom, surprising.
Me too. And if it hadn't been Ann, as I said earlier, I would never have said yes, because several of us here on this call were burned by another company. And I vowed never again, right? There are a lot of companies that don't do it well. David actually has said, well, in your interview with him last week, he said, I didn't want to put this together as a network marketing company, but it made sense, right? When you put yourself in a space of servant leadership, like Connie was talking about, this commitment to giving other people the best version. You said it great in your show last week too. I think you called it ethical capitalism, right? And if the goal of our every interaction is to have the other person be better off in whatever they want, not what I want, but what are they up to in life? Do they want more health? Do they want to feel better? Do they want to sleep better? Do they want, do they want to fall in love with the right person? Like whatever that is, if my commitment is to help them get that, I win, right? I can't do that if my batteries aren't full. And so one of the great things about this business model is that we get to help people realize, oh, wow, this is what it feels like to be 100%. And then you can't not share, right? I wasn't going to build a business. I was fine. I was one of those people. I was like, sure, it's Ann. I gotta try the product, and but then all of a sudden, I saw the success that I was describing earlier personally, and you can't not tell people that you love. And then all of a sudden, boom, you got magic people like Cheryl showing up, and I won't take away your thunder, Cheryl. I'll let you tell your mama's story, but Cheryl's 90-year-old mother running around the neighborhood, and everybody popped their eyes open going, I want that, right? I'll tell one quick story though. Because again, I think God tricked me into saying yes to Ann, and she gave me a great gift, because I've been on these technologies for 3 years, and I had a scare last year, which took me down fast, and some complications in open heart surgery that I had to go on heart-lung bypass, and the docs had basically told my family to get ready, that I was not going to be around. Had huge community around the world. I mean, the part of being part of this organization is, everybody on this screen was part of my uplifting, and part of the reason that I'm here, and hundreds of other people. And I didn't have to organize that, right? Word went out and people said their prayers. But the other thing is, I had a great surgeon, one of the top guys at Hopkins, thank God. And he told me later that week when I came to, that if I hadn't had absolutely perfect coronary arteries, that I would not have made it through the surgery. And that he'd never seen coronary arteries like that in a man my age. And I really do. I think, I was divinely blessed with these technologies, so I could nth degree what was already pretty decent health, for a guy in my mid-50s. And 3 years of this puts me in a space where I can make it through again. So now it's time to get younger and keep doing this for another couple 100 years.
I love it. I love it. We'll finish up with you, Cheryl. Surprising.
Yeah, bring it on home. A couple different stories for me. One is a story about my mother, who is going to be 92 next Monday. And when Dr. Tom and Ann, we had a patch party call, Zoom, and we patched her because she had sciatic nerve damage and bone degeneration. And I mean, it put her in the hospital. She was on opiates and counting the minutes till she could take the next one. And this went on for a year, and she was miserable. We looked at getting her surgery from the orthopedic surgeon at 91 years old. And anyway, so they patched her, and she had a pain level of about 10, she described. I mean, serious pain in her lower back. And within 6 minutes, Jason, it went to a 4, and then it went to a 2, and then it went to 0. And that was last August. And now her pain is completely diminished. It's gone. And she only wears the Ice Wave patch for pain intermittently when it might come up again in her lower back. But literally, she had lost all hope. When she was hospitalized, she said, "You're never putting me in here again. I'm never doing this." And she's got quite determination. And she literally was, I mean, I had to have neighbors come in and help because I was traveling and working. And literally my neighbors said, "Whatever she's doing, I need to know what that is because my knee hurts." And she's walking all around the neighborhood. So literally she recruited her own team all by her backstory. And literally, obviously she's a big advocate for it now. And clearly she's an introvert. So that was even more of a miraculous, story that she would, without hesitation, tell the story of how her health has come back. And she, not only with her back, but literally her health, her numbers are off the charts. She goes in for her health checkup this last February, and all the blood work and numbers are just off the charts. And the doctor's going, "Well, again, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. I can't believe you're not going to be 92. And she's in fabulous shape, and cognitively as well. Pays all of her own bills, does the grocery shopping, you name it, and she's involved. So that's been huge. The other piece I wanted to mention was the structure that Connie has created with our leadership team. And I know she gives credit to Gregory and Robin for that structure, but it's so beautiful. It works. The first time I met her on a Zoom, I thought, that lady has got it all together. And I just trust that what she's doing is right. And what she's saying is absolutely spot on. Because I too had been in a couple of other network marketing groups that weren't all what they said they were supposed to be. And the leadership there were some pieces of it that I just couldn't get behind. I just didn't trust it instinctively, how their processes worked and how literally I could make some money. That was not the case when I came on board to Lifewave, and certainly not the case with Connie's leadership and the rest of the team. So I wanted to add that.
Awesome. I love it. And it's all true. It's all true. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to wrap it up with a lightning round. Okay. That's what we're going to call it. It's going to be a lightning round. And we're going to start with Robin, go to Gregory. We're going to go around in the same circle. And the lightning round is this. What would you have told yourself about this business in the very beginning? What's one thing that you wish somebody would have said? What is if you would have met yourself, what would you say to yourself to get you to take the next step into this business?
Actually, I didn't have any judgment about the profession. I just wish I would have known about it a whole lot sooner because it would have changed the trajectory of my career, which was a great career, but I would have had freedom way sooner. So I would have loved to learn about this profession a lot younger, is really what it would be for me, because I know a lot of people have their judgments or whatever just because they don't understand. But for me, I just didn't realize it, and to really become a student of the business model, because that will make a huge difference in how quickly you can succeed.
I love that. And I want to come back and spend more time on that question. Maybe in another show, we'll talk about the actual structure of the business, because I think it's important for people to understand. But Gregory, lightning round, you go back and talk to you. What do you say to yourself?
I would have talked to Connie sooner. You know, find the best, they'll do the rest. I would have sharpened my pencil and got my best prospect list out sooner, and not waited for Robin to prove it to me.
I love that. Connie, what would you say to you in the beginning?
Mine is simple. Don't be the expert. Don't be the expert. In my previous endeavor in relationship marketing, I did what I do. I was the expert. So you heard Robin talk about what brought you and what your success is and your skills are in another industry doesn't necessarily transfer. So I was a certified health coach. I used to teach corporate wellness. I did all kinds of things. I was even taught color chemistry. I was used to being the teacher, the educator, the speaker. And so what happened was, in my previous company, I told everybody all the information. I told them everything, and I was one of their #1 customer getters, but I never developed a team or leverage because nobody could duplicate me. And it wasn't until one day when a friend of mine said, you know what, Connie, I would love to do what you do, but I'll never be able to know everything you know. And then I realized the mistake I had made for 15 years. So when I came over here, thank goodness, this was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. I didn't understand anything about it. So I just shared and said, you got to hear what happened to my husband. And I would share his story. I'd put an X39 on the back of their neck. If they had pain, I might put an Eon or an Ice Wave. I'd send them a video from the app. I'd use the tools to do the talking, and people were calling me back going, how do I get this? And so I tell people like you, Jason, when you said, well, I got to look at the science and I got to look at the research. And I would tell people all the time, you know what? I was the same way. That's for your own belief system. So you can learn everything you want to learn, but you don't get to tell anybody else. So the secret was, and I just got to share how good Ann and Tom were. Dr. Tom's a neurologist. He's an MD. Ann is an RN nutritionist. I'm a hairdresser. What did they do when they came into this business? They sent the tools. Somebody asked a question. They said, that's a great question. Let's get my friend Connie on the phone. She's been doing this a little longer. She'll help get you your answer your question. And so here's Tom, a neurologist, putting me on with somebody, edifying me and letting me ask the questions, letting me answer the questions. And at the time they're done, not only have they gotten their questions answered and you know, what else do you need to know before you get started? But suddenly they said, well, I'm not a neurologist, but I can certainly put somebody onto a Zoom. I can certainly put somebody onto a phone. I can certainly send a video from an app I carry around on my phone. And that was the duplication piece that changed everything.
I love that. I love that. Ann.
Yeah, I mean, I think similar to what Connie said, if I were to look at myself on the first day, it was like, okay, I got to know the science. I got to know everything about it. I think that today I would say, you know, forget the science, just start learning about it. And I think one of the most important things that anyone can do is to get yourself to an event and get in the room with David. I mean, if you want to build credibility, get yourself there. And because, you know, you walk in that room and you listen to him and you go, oh my God, you know, what an idiot. Why did I have to do all this research and science and all the reading? He's done it all for us. And all we have to do is, like Connie said, and what the tools are created, we just have to duplicate all of this. It's beautiful system. It really is.
Systems. My people are used to hearing that. Dr. Tom.
Yeah, Robin and Gregory are always saying, if you're talking, you're pointing to a tool. So we've all learned to duplicate that sentence as well. And I hear it all the time, and I'm lucky enough to work with a pretty high quality doc in South Africa, and he is top expert in his field as a neurosurgeon, and I was proud of myself this morning on a Zoom with him to not answer any of his questions, because I can still, we can still fall into our old ways. It's still in there. So yeah, kind of what Connie and Ann pointed to. I would have shut up sooner, and I also would have been vocal sooner. I was a bit embarrassed to call people who knew me well and let them know that I had decided to step back into this, because everybody in my life knew I was a never again, never. And so I wish I'd called some of my best buddies and colleagues and said, hey, you know what? I don't know what this is yet, but I'm doing this, and I want you to do it with me for 6 months. And then put them on one of the calls, because you can't, almost nobody who makes it through these calls. I mean, think of the thousands of people who are going to watch this show, Jason. You got a massive following of folks who are committed in all kinds of ways to making their lives better. Most of them aren't going to keep their mouths closed, right? So somebody heard something today from someone that you're going to end up telling somebody about. And that's all you got to do, is just tell the truth, tell people what you're fired up about, and tell them where to come. Say, I really want you here next week. Boom.
I love that.
Yep.
I'm going to wrap it up with you, Cheryl.
Thank you. I would say for myself last August, start sooner. I trusted the product, and I trusted the patches in my mom's progress and mine as well. But it was my progress was a little bit slow. It's taken a little while, if you will, under a year for my legs to get stronger. But her story with her immediate results, I wish I would have kind of put that out there a little bit sooner. It was our health advocate for her Medicare Advantage, that when we told the story, that she really took off with it and said, "What are you talking about?" And so then I thought, oh, if she's going to do it, I'm going to do it. I got to wrap myself up here. So the competition just crept right in there. So while yes, I believed in it, and yes, I understood it to a certain level, I really wished I would have turned that burner up faster in last August.
I love it. I just want to thank Robin and Gregory and Connie and Ann and Dr. Tom, and especially Cheryl, for being with us here today and sharing their experience with this amazing product that I've come across. So I'm going to put the link up, and make sure that you go to jasonsisneros.com and follow there's some tabs across the top there, and it'll say Built to Exit Health. All you got to do is click that open, go in there, read through the information. And if you want more information, there's a place for you to connect and to be able to get a hold of us. But take a serious look at this. This is something, it's been a game changer for my wife and I, and through the stories that you just heard, obviously making a difference in the lives of so many. It's a company that you can research, $400 million plus a year, fastest growing. There's so many ways for you to validate this idea of this business, and to be able to just at the worst case scenario, you just get some patches and you try it for yourself, and it improves your health, energy, and vitality. So that's what we do here on the Chairman Project. This is what we do at Built to Exit. This is what we do. I introduce you to things that work for me and then offer them out to you. And as you could see, there's an amazing team behind this product and this service. So enjoy. Come back and see us again, the Chairman Project podcast. We're doing it every Saturday. Make sure you join us on Twitter, x.com now, at the J Sisneros. We go live 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. There's some cool new technologies that are going to be coming out that I might be actually on video. Right now, it's just audio on Twitter. We film the episode while we're there, and then we have it edited and sent out to anybody that signs up at builttoexit.biz. You get my show notes, and you get the video, and you get all of the work that I put into these shows week to week. So again, I want to thank the crew for coming here. They're amazing people. I've gotten to know them, and looking forward for you to you being able to get to meet them and to be able to spend time and hang out. So I guess there's a couple of events coming up, and looks like I might be speaking at them. So it'll be a great time for us to all get together and talk about life in general, a new product, feeling better, making more money. That's what we do here. Okay. I love you all very much. Have an amazing, amazing day between now and the next time that we see each other. And always join us on Saturday. It's live. We get to talk. You can ask your questions, and we'll see you there. I'm Jason Sisneros. Peace.